Oh, before I get into this video, I just want to give a big thanks to everybody who has watched, commented, and subbed to the channel over the past year, whether I know you personally or not. So from the deepest caverns of my empty heart, I want to say thank you, and I love you. Corny. But, you know, that's how it be. I'm going to continue to do this as the year progresses, and I hope to, you know, slowly get better at it, because that's all you can do. So enough of that sappy emotional shit. Let's get into the good, we'll call it. And recently I had an epiphany. I remembered a TV show I used to watch with my dad when I was younger on the Discovery Channel. It was a reality TV show, and I know what you may be thinking. Oh man, the Discovery Channel is known for its critically acclaimed reality TV shows with a catalog such as American Chopper, that's bullshit, Deadliest Catch, and Say Yes to the Dress. Now, I haven't really watched that show, Say Yes to the Dress, but I'm just imagining it goes something like this.
Whoa, so nice.
Yes.
That's a dress. Definitely a dress.
Yeah. And
God has abandoned us.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Definitely. So the hidden gem that I'm talking about is a show called The Amish Mafia, and I like to think that's an amalgamation of two of the most interesting topics, one being the Mafia and the other being Amish people. Now, I know what you may be thinking, oh man, does the Amish people really have a mafia? And the answer is quite simple. No, they don't. But that doesn't stop the Discovery Channel from fucking cashing in on that sweet money, baby. So before I get deep into it, I want to give you an introduction to the cast of the show. And I thought the best way to do this is to just make a tier list of it. So we have the tier list broken up as actually Amish, then sorta Amish, then not Amish, but also not Amish. And then lastly, we have the farthest from Amish. First, we have Lebanon Levi, who to me is the equivalent of Boss Baby, but he's allegedly the head honcho of the Amish Mafia in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Now, I like to imagine that people who are the heads of Mafia have some sort of intimidation or fear factor to them. Like, for example, like Tony Soprano from The Sopranos or Al Pacino from The Godfather. They have some sort of air to them that can, you know, leave people, you know, a little scared of them. But I don't really see it with Lebanon Levi. You know, I'm going to go for a low-hanging fruit right here, picking this off. But he has some sort of accent or lisp to him. So whenever he's angry, it just doesn't really come off as intimidating. Like, I'm kind of imagining as if it was like Mike Tyson was the head of some mafia, except without that killer instinct and physique Mike Tyson has for being a world-class boxer. Like, for example, if we look right here, this is Lebanon Levi when he's at his angriest point.
Listen to me? I'm listening. Well, then stop talking back.
Like, come on, can you see what I'm saying? Like, that's just not intimidating. I'd be, like, trying my best not to crack a smile at him just for fucking how angry he is. He's throwing, like, a little temper tantrum, I see it as. So, he's also a little hidden lore here. He's not actually baptized into the Amish community, so he's not actually Amish, and for this, we will put him in the not Amish, but not Amish, because, I mean, he could still follow the ways of the Amish people, and I think for that, we'll give him that category. So next on this list, we have Esther, and she's the love interest to Levi here, and she's kind of just, like, annoying throughout the whole entire show. They try and weave in some weird, like, plot with her and her brother, and that's kind of the main point of it. But it just kind of comes off annoying. But I think the saving grace of her overall is that she's not Amish at all and no ties to Amish. The only thing that could connect her to Amish people is the fact that she's comes from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. So it makes this show just 100 times better just knowing that she's just role-playing as an Amish person the whole entire show. And it comes off pretty believable. I wouldn't have known better if I didn't really look into this enough. Besides this show being, you know, the farthest from believable. So for that overall, I'm going to place her in the farthest from Amish category because that fits. So following Esther is John, who was the guy getting yelled at in the previous clip of Boss Baby Levi throwing a temper tantrum. And he's supposed to be the brother to Esther, but I'm going to tear off this immersion band-aid real quick and say that that's not true. Sorry, please don't cry. But overall, John is one of my favorite characters. He's so oblivious to the whole entire thing that's going on that it just kind of makes me really love him because he just doesn't really know what's going on, and it almost feels like that he wasn't given a script throughout the whole entire thing, so he's just kind of trying to figure out what's going on as the whole entire plot develops of the show. So for that, personally, I'm going to put him in the sorta Amish category, just because I want to keep that immersion going for myself, that he might be just an Amish guy that they pulled out of the crowd and just kind of was like, hey dude, we'll pay you $100 if you're in the show. And he was like, okay, yeah, why not? Next is Jolene, who's supposed to be Levi's muscle man of the show. And he kind of just carries around guns with him. That's kind of like his shtick. He kind of is the one kid that everybody went to school with who made their own personality around using guns, whether it's shooting them at the range, carrying them, cleaning them, fucking them, polishing them, whatever they really decide to do with it. So the one thing they really drill home with him, though, is that he's a Mennonite, which is more of like a updated version of Amish people. So the thing that they say is he can do things that Amish people can't, which means just carrying around a gun, I guess, and driving them places. But again, that's not Amish, so we're gonna make our own category for him and just label it Mennonite, and he'll go there. Next is Alvin, who's another guy, a part of Levi's ragtag crew, and he's kind of just doesn't really talk much. To my understanding, they just didn't really know how to write his character, and they didn't want to hire another writer to get a part of it, so they kind of were just like, all right, like, let's just make his thing that he's like camera shy or just shy in general. So I think for the immersion factor of that, I'm going to keep him going and just say sorta Amish, and we'll just stick him there. Next is Alan, who's in prison for the whole entire first season until the last episode where he gets released, and they call him Black Amish, which sure you can guess why. It's because his favorite color is black. Don't know what other reason would make sense there. But he's actually a talent manager, and I think when I was reading about it, he was a talent manager for Levi, so I think they hired him as a dual package, like buy one, get one 50% off kind of type thing. Since he's a talent manager, I'm going to put him in the category of farthest from Amish. The last character is Merlin, who's kind of the antagonist of the show. He's the head honcho of the Amish Mafia out in like Ohio or some bullshit like that. And to me, he's kind of just like a band kid that like stumbled into the audition room thinking it was like a Magic the Gathering tournament. But alike to Lebanon Levi, he's not actually baptized, so he's not actually Amish. But when I go to the role-playing aspect of it, I think he role-plays an Amish person better than Lebanon Levi does. So I'm going to put him in the highest slot of the sorta Amish. All right, so that's pretty much everybody relevant in the TV show. And who would have guessed? Nobody's Amish on the TV show. Not me. Reality TV shows known for its accurate portrayal of people. Very much like the Jersey Shore. That's how everybody in New Jersey acts. And that is a fact. Anybody that disputes that is wrong. Remember that. The beauty of this show is that it tries to be so many things while at its core just being a dog shit reality show. The audio cues are so predictable, the acting's so below subpar, and the plot's even worse than the acting, which is hard to believe at some points. But when you combine all of it, it just makes it something beautiful. It's like Sopranos, except everything that makes The Sopranos good. So to give a better idea of the beauty of the show, we're going to talk about the first episode of the first season. It's the pilot. The pilot's a make or break for a lot of TV shows. You got to reel the fucking people in right there so they watch it next week. You got to make sure that they keep wanting to come back and consuming the dog shit of the TV show. So to my surprise, the pilot must have been pretty damn good because there are 4 seasons of the Amish Mafia, which blows my mind because a banging show like Freaks and Geeks only got 1 season before it got canceled. But no. This Amish Mafia will give it 4 seasons of dog shit. 45 minutes each with 10 plus episodes in each season. We're just gonna keep fucking pushing it out. Keep going. But whatever, I'm totally not still spiteful about that and sad. But it's whatever. We'll just get into the first episode.
De Amish Maifa sist niks vid de Amish Mafia. For the innocent Amish protect and miss certain events in Vagaduvar.
So the show starts off with someone speaking Dutch, according to Esther, or it could be a German dialect. Who the fuck really knows? And who honestly gives a shit what the fuck they're saying? They add some eerie music on top of it, so it adds to the mysteriousness of the mafia. Shh, can't say the word. Mafia. This is something that the show does a lot. When it's at a high tension point, they'll start speaking Dutch or German again, whatever. And then it tries to add to their immersion that everything going on is real and it's not fake and it's not a dog shit reality show. And then they slip in something else about saying that everything in the show is a reenactment. But I guess this is something that they did in every episode that the people on Amazon just fucking miss. Because if you go to the reviews of the show, people just like rip it apart as if it's not a fake reality TV show. There are like 40 plus reviews of people being like, actually, I just don't think it's real. How could it be real if Amish people aren't supposed to be seen on camera? Like, dude, that's the fucking point of it. Like, how smooth is your brain that you just can't tell off a quick watch this show is completely fake? I just don't get it, but people really were getting into it on the Amazon review page for this show. I just don't understand how nobody could watch this and be like, whoa, that's really how Amish people are like? That's crazy. There's a mafia out there. Like, what the fuck? Next, after the scene, is Esther talking about how strict the Amish religion is. Again, remember, she's the person who has no ties to the Amish besides growing up in Lancaster. And then it's juxtaposed with Jolyn loading up a gun and then pointing it everywhere. And I bet you the writers, they give them a nice pat on the back for that one, because I'm sure they're 4 years of college and mass amount of debt just to write a show like the Amish Mafia was really worth it for them. So that's good. We'll give them a quick clap right here. Jumping ahead a little bit, they start to introduce Lebanon Levi, and they kind of talk about some stories about how badass he is and how he's not a total fucking pussy. And then Jolyn drops this bombshell of the story.
One time, one guy put a gun to Levi's chest. Levi didn't even flinch. He just broke the guy's arm.
Like, this is some superhero shit. This is some shit you would see Batman do. This is some shit Batman probably has done. And I like that little cherry on top that they add of the gun clicking sound effect to make it sound even more like, oh fuck, he's a badass. It's a nice little cherry on top to the story. So within the first 5 minutes of the show, they give you clear evidence that it's fake, but still, it's not enough to convince some people on Amazon. So let's keep going. Maybe there's something else there that'll really give away that it's fake. But again, you're telling me this guy
Stop talking back.
broke someone's hand who had a gun pointed at them. And I find it hard to believe. And am I a bad person? Am I wrong for thinking this is hard to believe? I don't know. Maybe. So the first quest that this gang embarks on is a insurance claim. Someone's horse and buggy carriage got fucking wrecked by a car, and they called Levi to try and get some money for the buggy and try to get a new one or some shit like that. It doesn't really matter. It's not really important. But they get into it. And then that kind of introduces Jolyn as the muscle man, and which pretty much consists of them talking about how he's a Mennonite, and then a bunch of scenes of him just carrying around guns. So it's a cool little montage, I guess. Also, during the clips of the montage, they throw in this shot here. And I'm no gun expert. I don't know really anything about fucking guns. But am I wrong for thinking this sounds exactly like the ships in Star Wars when they fired the fucking cannons? Like, am I wrong? Like, did they just take that sound effect and then put it there, or is that what the gun actually sounds like? I don't know enough for it, but I'm just gonna believe for myself that they just ripped it from Star Wars. I was like, nah, nobody will probably notice. So after they introduce Jolyn, they get into our motherfucking boy John's introduction, which I'm just gonna sum up with this clip right here. I don't think anything else needs to be said about this clip. There's nothing intimidating about this at all. John's whipping around in the cart that people who break one of their legs do. He's taking the fucking Healy Express out here in Lancaster. So enough of the introductions of this whole thing before I get into a 40-minute video just talking about this and all these introductions that they do about these different people. We'll just jump right into the action, right into the schmeat of this fucking show. So they go to the house. She tells him about the wreck. She takes him to the buggy. They analyze the damage, which pretty much just consists of Jolyn looking at the wheel back and forth as if that means anything. Then they talk to her a little more. She mentions that she knows where the guy lives. So as soon as this is said, an intense audio cue goes in. Jolyn gets rock hard and was like, all right, where is he at? I'm trying to kill somebody.
Well, I think his parents live up the road.
She's like, I don't want any trouble, but little does she know that Jolyn's already rock hard and is like, I want all the fucking smoke. I'm trying to commit war crimes as soon as possible. John just kind of looks around, speaks a little Dutch to her, asking what the car looks like and like where the house is, and then she gives the Addy, and then Jolyn's off to go commit war crimes. And John stays there just to kind of talk to her and stare at the wheel some more. So Jolyn eventually reaches the house after monologuing for an extended period of time to fill the 45-minute episode about how Amish people are passive and people in the English world aren't intimidated of the Amish people. Fair enough. And then he gets to the house, and before anything even happens, they pan a shot of the car that's a perfect description of what this girl said. Very much a coincidence. Who would have thought? So he goes up to the steps, knocks on the door, and then this is the first couple seconds of the interaction.
Our buggy got hit by a car, and a car left, and we're trying to figure out who did it.
Buggy got hit by a car. Are you assuming it's my car?
Well, what kind of car do you drive?
What's the matter?
Like, bruh, if the car is in the middle of the driveway, why wouldn't you just be like, yo, that's the car. Like, that shit looks busted as fuck. Like, you did it, probably. You can't say for sure because, you know, you don't want to look fucking stupid and you don't want to assume. But, like, you're dancing around the subject. Why are you doing that? All right, camera died sentence, but that's whatever. We'll just get back into it.
Is it a white four-door? Because that's what they said hit the buggy. Maybe this car would have some damage done to it.
What I'm just trying to say is I don't know why they danced around the topic of the car if there's obvious evidence, a busted fucking car in the driveway. Like, you're explaining what the car looks like as if it's not just right there.
Are you here to arrest me or do something about it?
I want to get to the bottom of it.
Like, Jolin's supposed to be intimidating here, but it just kind of comes off as awkward. He just kind of, like, arms crossed, just standing back. Like, you don't seem intimidating here, dude. You seem kind of like a fucking dweeb. But again, this whole scene's so bizarre. If the car's there, why are you describing it not being like that's it? You could, no words we could have even been exchanged there. That's just enough evidence to be like, oh shit, maybe he fucking knows. So if you thought that was a climax, boy, you are wrong. So the guy slams the door on Jolin and kind of tells him to fuck off pretty much in politer words. And then Jolin leaves, and he's about to get in his car to dip, but you know what he's going in his car for? A motherfucking gun, boy. So he does what every normal person would do, and go get a gun out of his car. Like, what the fuck was that? What even, like, like shit like that is why I like this show. Just because what the fuck is the purpose of that? He turns around and you can see it in that walk that he is so proud of what he just did. But I don't even understand what's badass about that. Dude just shot it. Like, at my school, they beat up broken cars and they do it as like a donation thing. This dude just shoots the car as if it's like some badass shit. Like, the car's already bodied from the accident. He's about to just get rid of it and then buy a fucking new car at that point. Whatever. I think it would have been a lot cooler if it went something like this. There's plenty of more adventures that this ragtag group goes on of the so-called mafia-esque adventures, but I didn't really want to get too much into this because I didn't want this video to be super long. If I'm being honest, this was just the first quest that they were really put on. There's a couple more because, again, they gotta milk that 45-minute episode there. So, as always, I enjoyed doing this. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. If you're interested and want to watch this yourself, this is on Amazon Prime. So if you want to lose brain cells like I did watching these episodes over again, then you are welcome to do it. Who am I to fucking stop you? But just good luck. That's all I gotta say. Don't put your hopes too high, because it's one of those things where I think it's so dog shit that it's just beautiful. You know? I don't know. Maybe just me, but that's enough. I'll see ya.